Now shifting focus, viewers, in a dramatic twist to the Dharmasthala mass burial case, the special investigation team has now arrested the man infamously known as the Masked Man. Identified as C.N. Chinnayya, also known as Chenna, the former anonymous complainant in this case has now turned into the prime accused, in fact. Police sources confirmed that the prime accused here was taken into custody after it was established that his earlier statements were misleading and fabricated. In fact, the witness protection provided to him has now been officially cancelled, with the SIT now framing direct charges against him. We are given to understand that during the intense grilling by SIT officers, the anonymous witness admitted that he had been inducted and misled by others to give false statements in a shocking revelation. In fact, he said, and I quote him here, "I am only a player. The masterminds are someone else. They told me to say things like this, so I said it. They told me to take the skull and hand it over to the court, so I did." This is a very shocking statement now coming in from the masked man himself in the Dharmasthala burial case. In fact, viewers, he also admitted that he had no knowledge of where the skull produced before the court had actually come from. And despite repeated questioning, he remained evasive about the origins of the skull. In fact, at one point, he insisted that investigators must first conduct excavation at the spot he had shown earlier. Now, SIT, suspicious of inconsistencies in his testimony, subjected him to hours of questioning. And under pressure, the complainant finally spilled crucial details, exposing the contradictions in his earlier versions of statements as well. Now, viewers, as of this morning, the arrested masked man is scheduled to be produced before the court at about 11 a.m. So, which is, in a short while from now, in fact. And prior to his court appearance, a mandatory medical examination will be carried out at the Taluk Hospital. Police are expected to seek his custody for further investigation, as well as investigators now believe that more key details could surface once he's thoroughly questioned. In fact, because he's mentioned that he is just a player, a pawn in this big game. So there's somebody else who's actually the mastermind. So, of course, those questions will now be answered during the investigation. In fact, with his arrest, the case has now taken a dramatic turn. The so-called whistleblower has now been unmasked as the accused, raising bigger questions on the alleged mastermind he claims of pulling the strings behind him. Now, my colleague Mohammed Wajula is joining me on this story. Good morning, Mohammed. It's a very big turn that has now come in the Dharmasthala burial case. The one man we were following for all the excavations, for all the points, has now turned out to be the accused in the case. Give us more details.
Absolutely, the case is getting murkier and murkier by the day, and now with this latest breakthrough, that is that the police have arrested the masked man. While there was investigation against him, he was called in the SIT for the last 2-3 days, and they were observing him because all this while, when the digging was going on close to 30 places, they still were able to find a single piece of bone, and the bones that were already found turned out, in one of the bones turned out to be the bone of a male person, and that is when their suspicion grew about the masked man. And yesterday, when the intensive grilling was done, that is where he spilled the beam, and he said that he just, it is believed to have been said that he has said that he's a small pawn in this entire thing. There is a big conspiracy behind it, and it turns out to be what the Deputy Chief Minister also said a few days ago, that there is a big conspiracy against Dharmasthala, and very soon people will get to know. So right now with the SIT, excuse me, right now with the SIT arresting the masked man, it is clear that the investigation is getting more intense, and they are now going to go behind everyone who was talking about Dharmasthala, who had spread rumors about Dharmasthala with regards to the dead body, because the SIT believes that the allegations that were leveled against Dharmasthala with regards to the bodies being buried at various sites, they have gone and done digging at those places. They have done an intensive search with the help of drones, and despite all of this, they have not been able to establish or find any proof. Therefore, the case will now be investigated from the other angle on who has decided to use this as a tool to tarnish Dharmasthala. It looks like that the case is turning that way. So that is where the masked man has been arrested. And right now, as we speak, he's been produced in front of the court by the Beltangri police. His medical has been done. And in any minute now, we'll get to know what is the fate of the masked man.